A very good evening to all of you. I hope you're all doing very well. Thank you so much for joining in for today's session, wherein we would be learning about the importance of writing and we would also see writing on paper. In the previous class, we discussed a lot of things about writing, the pre-writing tools like metal and sets. Then we also saw some of the Montessori tools like sandpaper letters and movable alphabets, which help the children to actually write. From there, we moved on to chalkboards. From chalkboards, we got into, the laminated cards wherein children could see and they would be able to write based upon the lines and strokes, based upon the placements, based upon the type of stroke. It could be the cursive or the freehand writing, correct? Now, we understood the importance of writing is very essential for preschool. Depending upon what preschools it is, the writing is taken in one of the way. Much before writing, what's essential for our children is they have to listen really well. The more they listen, the better they speak. The better they speak, the better they read. Better they listen, speak, and read, better they actually write. So writing in any of the preschools is considered to be as a foundational skill for literacy and communication. If a child needs to communicate, if he wants to say something, write something, he has to communicate through writing. That is also one way of communication, right? So if you ask me, is it an essential skill, ma'am? Definitely, yes, it's an essential skill because it is helping your motor development, your fine motor development. Children become creative. What they have in their mind is what they're replicating onto the paper. When they ask questions about how should I write, what should I write, how do I put the answers onto the paper, the children are also working on their cognitive ability. So it is supporting not only on improvisation of the handwriting, but at the same time, it is helping our children to work on other skills. Now, say suppose in case if the child is not able to hold a spoon properly, why do you think that the child is struggling to hold a spoon properly? Grip is not proper. So when you put such children to classes and when you expect them to write and trace, do you think they would be able to trace? They would be able to join the dots? Obviously not, right? They would have got their writings as scribbles. So what you can always do is like when you start encouraging her to hold the spoon properly, to dig the mud with the same spoon in the outdoors, what happens? You're trying to work on the grip of the child. Now the child will be able to do many of the things using the same spoon. She is maybe able to eat independently. And if you see, if the children are able to eat independently by 2.5 years of age, they wouldn't struggle to write. They wouldn't struggle to hold the pencil. So these are some of the enhances of how or what kind of an activities that you can actually give it for our children. Okay, other problem is if the children are not able to recognize letters. Now, say, suppose in case if I'm asking them to write a letter S, if they don't know to write a letter S, it becomes very difficult for them also on the literacy part. They find it very difficult. That is when they start giving excuses. I don't want to write. Correct? So that could also be one of the other things that we would be able to work on. Now, in case if you open your book, okay, so let me share the copy myself. Sorry. In case if you're now able to open your book, your PDF is open. Okay. Guys, your book is open?
No.
Okay. So turn to page number 328. Okay. So this is what is there in 328. Much before, in case if you go in the last class, we started with sorting. Correct? We began with sorting. Why sorting was essential for us? We understood sorting symbols. We took the first material. We did our sorting using sandpaper letters. From there, we understood how do I work with my sandpaper letters. I can bring letters to my classes. I will ask students to bring the letters. So children will actually bring letters into my class from my sandpaper letter. Whatever letter they take it, they trace it. And now we would discuss about what kind of a stroke it is. It is a straight line or is it a curved line? What kind of a stroke is it? Correct? So this is what we would be doing in the first presentation when it comes down to sorting. What was the material we used? Sandpaper letter. From there, we can go to the second kind of a material wherein you are trying to sort the letters based on the position of it. Now, this is your presentation 2. So please underline. So that's your presentation 2, wherein you are sorting your letters based on movable alphabet. How do you sort? Based on how these letters have been placed. Okay. So based on the placement of these particular letters is what you're going to be tracing. So this is where you have to remember that we have to be working with line concepts. Okay. This is the experiment that you would be working with line concepts, wherein you have to take your movable alphabet material with you. You have to have a large mat and you have to have a felt cloth. Now, what is felt cloth? Felt cloth is one which will have 4 lines on it. Okay, it will have 4 lines which will be marked on it. So it becomes easy for you. So you can take any letter from the movable alphabet and you would try to keep on it. Now, say, suppose in case if I take my letter A. So my letter A will fall under this. What if I take my letter H? I have to be placing my letter H like this. There could be children who would be placing the letter H like this. This is where the teacher tells the position of the letter is not proper. You have not arranged it in a rightful way. This is the second exercise that we saw, and we did it with the help of movable alphabet. Children will take letter by letter and they will start putting on which mat? On the felt mat. Now, felt mat will have how many lines? It will have 4 lines. Okay. Just to make sure that the children will be able to work on it. So this was a second exercise that we actually did that. Then was placement. Placing now you know, right? Whether it is touching the top line, whether it is touching the bottom line, you go very much in detail and you would start helping the children to work on arrangements. So by placing, again, you have to choose a felt mat, which will have all the 4 lines. Okay. See, a large cloth, which will guide you to place the letters. Bottom lines are pink and the center 2 lines are aquamarine. That means the center 2 lines are blue color. So you'll be drawing the 4 lines and then you will be sorting the letters. Take any letter, B, T, B, T, B. They are called the stem letters, or we call them as the sky letters because they touch the top of the line. Now letter G, it's going down. So we call them the tail letters, or we can call them as root letters, right? So these are the root letters or the tail letters. The other ones are called the tall letters or the stem letters because the stem is actually touching the top line. All right. So this was one such exercise that we saw. Today we would be able to see, yeah. Now if you go to your presentation 4, which we did not see in the last class. Now this presentation is based on alphabetical order. Okay. Alphabetical order, how would you do? Again, I would choose my movable alphabet. I will have to take my mat. I will have to take a large cloth. Now, what I'm supposed to do, I will ask the child to put everything in alphabetical order. If it's uppercase, A, B, C, D until my Z. If it's lowercase, again, the smaller A to smaller Z in this. So they're going to be working on that. Now, what as a teacher you're going to do, you can pick any letter from center and you would ask them, what is the sound of it? How do you write it? Okay. So write many number of times and all. Now, you will also extend exercises. Guys, are you with me? What are the exercises that you're going to be doing? The first exercise is very simple. You take any blank chalkboard or anything, you will ask the child to write. The second exercise is where you will give them double lines here. Okay. Double lines are usually what color? Double lines are usually blue colors. So the lines has to be specific. Okay. Because you are giving the double lines. Now, whatever the letters that the child picks, the child is going to be writing on the double line. It could be A or it could be C. If it is B, if it is G. Now the child knows the position of it has to go down. Clear, everyone? There are no diagrams. There are no pictures in your books. But we will have to be writing everything. Okay? And use color pencils to draw the lines, or you can use the sketch pens to draw the lines, and every exercise needs to be explained in case if you're getting, sorting by position or placements. And why do we do this exercise? Very simple. It is because of the awareness of how a letter looks like, how to write a letter. It is also to get an understanding of how to position a particular letter. Only then the child will be able to write the letter correctly on paper. This is the purpose, main purpose of this exercise of why we do that. From there, we move on to our other exercises, that is writing on paper. Okay. Till now, we did not give anything to write on paper. Now, as a teacher, I will now move to my paper. So, what is my first priority? I have to choose what kind of paper I will give. Now, if you are a LKG or a UKG teacher, what is a paper you give for children to write? You probably will choose a 4-line, correct? For language, and you will choose a square kind of a sheet for your math writing. So that is the first thing that we actually choose. So we have to choose a writing paper. The writing paper can be specific to the lines what you require. Some teachers might take a blank sheet. Some teachers might take rules, blind books. Okay. So that you will be able to guide what kind of write-up it actually comes down. Okay. Now give me the differences. Is it a 1-line sheet? Is it a 2-line sheet? Is it a 3-line sheet? Is it a 4-line sheet? Or is it a 5-line sheet? This is very essential. This has to be prepared and kept. As soon as you get this question in writing, in your exam, writing on paper, the first thing that you're going to be thinking is like, what is the paper I'll have to give? Some students are really smart. They will make 5 templates, 5 small pieces. You can cut it from an A4 sheet, quickly draw single lines, quickly draw 2 lines. But you can't go wrong in using wrong colors. Single lines blue, double lines blue, 3 lines, the first and the second in the blue, and the third in the red, 4 lines, top and the bottom in the reds, 2 lines in the blue color in the center. Okay. 5 lines. We usually don't use it, but in case if some of the schools are using, you can also use your 5 lines. Usually they use it for Kannada. Okay. When there are double
हिंदी में
for Hindi, we use a 5-line book because it helps the children to write all the matras accordingly. So languages usually they prefer in many of the schools. But in case if you're not preferring 5 lines, you can skip that particular thing. Okay. But simultaneously, if you're teaching other languages, you can also use the lines according to it. So that becomes our preparation. Now what I would do is like, I will have to collect certain things. So you go back again, you will collect certain pictures. So you will take your tray. In the tray, you will collect magazine pictures. But again, there's a restriction. The pictures of whatever you collect has to be single items. When I say single items, single phonogram words like hat, bat, pet, cat, dog, lamp. It has to be a single syllable word. So you pick such pictures or any of the scenes of the people from anything, like, from a farm party or from a parade or from a birthday, you take single syllables ones, okay, like cake, gift, they are single syllables. So you take those pictures, then you take a pencil, whatever are the items which is needed to make a booklet. What do you need to make booklets? Scissors, punches. Then in case if somebody wants to tie a twine, okay, so you can take that yarn and all of that. So you keep all of that ready. Now you bring children, you ask them, children, we are going to make certain books out of whatever we are trying to have it. Now what I'm going to do here is like, once I start inviting the children to make that, so we give them that pictures, we ask the children what that picture is. Now the child is able to understand, to look carefully what the picture is all about. The teacher is going to write the word in the blackboard. Which is the stage you think that the child is able to copy now? When they're towards the second term of LKG. You have to make sure that the child is now independent to copy from board. Okay? Don't expect everything to be written by the teacher to the books. Many schools, when I go for the observation, I've seen that the teachers are writing in the red pen. You have to encourage the children also to write. Correct? So you will start writing. So go to the class. As soon as you go, draw some lines onto the classes and you write over there and the child will now copy. This is the first conventional way of how the child is copying. So conversationally, the child now feels blackboard is different, paper is different. The sizes of what my teacher is writing on the board is different and what I'm writing on my paper is totally different. So you will converse with the child This is how we will have to be writing on the paper, and the child conventionally copies it and writes on the paper. So go slow over here. Maybe one letter at a time. Let the child look at the first letter. Let everybody copy. Then you write the next letter. Then you write the next letter. So by second quarter of LKG, children should be independent enough to copy what my teacher has actually written to my board. Many schools, they don't do it. If you're not doing it, try to follow, because it's going to be beneficial. You will have to stop writing everything onto the child's paper. Line by line, word by word. Okay, and show again if the corrections are required, if the pencil has not been held properly, if the lines have not been touched properly when the child is writing, you need to make the correction. If the child is not using the proper directions, we need to correct it over here. Okay, so these would be my exercises that we will have to be following. Now coming down to multiple exercises, what all can we do? The first exercise is single letters. You choose a paper, you are writing A, the child will also write multiple times the letter A. Second exercise, what you're going to do, you're going to give them a word. The child is going to write a word. Now, when they're writing words, they have to evenly space one word with another word. Okay. And if they are using any kind of writing, like if it's cursive writing, they have to make sure that the letters are connected. Okay. This is the most important thing. But some children, they would also make a mistake. The size of all the letters will also be the same. Have you noticed? This is an avoidable thing in our exercise too. The child should make sure the letter T has to go a little taller. That will have to taken care in our exercise too. Exercise 3, what do we do? Very easily they are able to write it. And they will write, and they will also have to draw. That's my exercise 3. The child should also draw a picture, write a word. So teacher is also teaching them how to draw. Exercise 4, you're teaching them to write phrase. Now, how does a word become a phrase? Only when you add your article a, an, and the. Okay, then the teacher says, write the cat. The child should be able to write the cat, a cat, an apple. Okay, so that's my exercise 4. Exercise 5, how to write a sentence. Okay, use 3 lines, 4 lines, 5 lines according to it. Slowly, the child should be able to write a story. So these are all the 5 different exercises that we do using a paper or writing on a paper. What's my exercise 6? Now you give any poem or a rhythm or anything, the child should be able to illustrate it. And whatever is a transcription, the child should have been able to copy all of it. Clear? We are giving a lot of writing practice, and the child is also being creative here because they are drawing, they're showing their creative skills, everything, right? So it's very essential. So as I said, 4.5 years. In between mid of LKG, the child should be able to write everything. This is as per my observation. First quarter, you can go slow by teaching them the positions and placements, how to write upper and the lowercase letters. If you're introducing cursive letters, get the hold on all of that. From there is what you would move to actual writing. Okay, a very important topic that's a for sure question. Okay, and every year, one of them have got, how do you describe the writing exercises in your classroom? How can the writing be taken on a paper? Okay, so you can give all those exercises and you can write very nicely on your exam paper. Also draw lines and give a lot of good explanation, and you can also demonstrate set by set, exercise by exercise, how do we work on it. Clear? That's the first exercise for today. Shall we move to the second exercise? Okay. Second exercise is all about the punctuations. Correct? So whenever we work on punctuations, what's very essential for me? I have to also look at, when do I write my uppercase letters or when do I write my lowercase letters? That is also essential for me, isn't it? So I do have 26 letters, we understand, but punctuations will play a vital role, especially. And when can I help the children to write now? From now on, children will use little lesser upper cases, and every sentences will be in the lowercase letters itself. And slowly they will understand uppercase letters will have to be used only at the beginning of the sentence. Now you can write down there what are all the different situations that you're going to be using your uppercase letters only at the beginning of the sentence. Oh, sorry. How do I bring it down? Okay, it's too big. Okay, so you can write down there at the beginning of the sentences. We can actually use it. And when I'm using a proper noun, for a proper noun. So whenever I have my proper nouns. So what can all be my proper nouns? Names, name of a place, if it's a day, if it's a month, it can all be my proper nouns. Okay, we would be using only on that. So I have different material, correct? So what are the different materials we collect for this particular exercise? We have to have 3 sets. Concentrate here. We will have 3 sets of 26 cards. So one for each letter of the alphabet. Now the first set will have one letter written in lowercase. That means the entire first set will have all the lowercase letters A, B, C, D. You can write here only until Z. And what is the size of it? 10 into 8 centimeters or 8 into 10 centimeter. The second set is slightly bigger and the card will have one letter written in the uppercase. Now, uppercases are taking a larger space. So it will have uppercase letters until your C. The third set is again 16 into 10 centimeters. Guys, this is not 98. This is 8 into 9, 8 into 10 centimeters only. Okay. 8 into 10 centimeter. Next set is going to be 16 into 10 centimeter. That means the first one, how it will be? It is a card like this. Okay. So if you want to write with the card, each of the cards, and you will have a lowercase letter written. The second one is also like the same measurement, but you will have your uppercase letter written here. But if you notice the third one, it is double the size. Okay, why it is double the size? Because you are writing both upper and the lowercase letters together. This is just like your sandpaper letters. You will have 3 sets, one for upper, one for lower, one for upper and the lowercase letters together. Now you will ask the children to come and you will show them, children, the upper and the lowercase letters are all the same. This is also A, this is also A, this is capital A, this is small a. So that is the next learning that the child will go through. Yes, both the letters are of the same. And wherever there are capital letters that you actually get it, this is how the lower letter looks like. So you're giving them. And you would be affirming the name of it also. Both of them have the same name. And you will also introduce new terms, uppercase letter, capital letter, lowercase letter, small letter. Okay. So you would start to give them the new terms. And you would use your 3-period lesson and you will tell them, can you show me where is uppercase letter A? Can you show me where is the lowercase letter C? One at a time. Okay. Then the child should be very much thorough in identifying, yes, what is my upper, what is my lowercase. Okay. The purpose is the child will have to recognize both the upper and the lowercase letters correctly. Now is what we get into punctuations of when can I get the capital letters, when to use a full stop, when to use a comma, and when to use a question mark. So please note down, start writing. The first one that we're going to be working is for capital letters. So I will be duplicating 3 sets of cards. When I say duplicating 3 sets of cards, what kind of cards that I will have to be using? There are multiple stages also for me, what I have to be working on. Now, what I would do here, maybe I will choose a sentence. Now, everyone can choose a sentence in their mind. Now, what you need to do over here is like, in the set A, I want to illustrate the capital letter at the beginning of each sentence. and a full stop at the end. So that means whenever I'm taking a label card like this should have a sentence. At the beginning of the sentence, it is starting with a capital letter, and the ending, it's going to end with a full stop. This is one thing. What I'm going to do for this stage A, I will have 3 such cards. First card, second card, and the third card. Okay? All the 3 cards I'm going to have. This is important. I'm going to have 3 cards. And each of the 3 cards will have the same sentence. Guys, you're getting me? It will have the same sentence.
Same color also, ma'am?
Yes, same color also. Because see, I have chosen the pen differently so that it becomes easy for me to show you to you. Okay. Full stop will be in red color. Okay. Now, what am I going to do here is like the other 3 cards, we're going to duplicate the sentence, but they will have no capital letter. So, say suppose in case if I say today is sunny. So, in case if I'm writing today is sunny, today is a sunny day. So, what is my correct sentence? Maybe I can take today. Today is a sunny day. Okay, maybe this is a correct statement. Now I have to take 3 more duplicate cards, right? So here what I will do is like I will write wrongly I will write. Maybe I will not highlight the capital letter in the first thing. In the second, maybe I will still not highlight this, but I will also put a capital in between. So this is also wrong. Now what in the third thing, everything will be correct. Maybe I have not given my full stop properly here. Now when the child sees, the child will have to say, is this correct? No, this is not correct. Is this correct? This is not correct. Is this correct? This is not correct. This is correct. So the child will now understand about how do I use my capitalization? How do I use my periods? How do I use my commas and question marks properly? Okay, this is what they would start working on this particular exercise. Guys, you got it? The first exercise, we need to have 3 duplicate cards for any sentence that you're going to be having it. And full stop needs to be in the color red. Okay. Now, coming down to the presentations, how would you introduce capital letter and period was our first exercise. Okay. Second exercise, you're going to be using comma. So let me show you that. How do you use it? So you will get that idea. Okay. So the 3 sentences, you can actually make it like this. And now the child should be able to find out which is the correct one. Okay. So they'll have to be able to find out which is the correct one. The correct one is the first one. Now you're going to put all these materials inside. Now let's see the other ones, like, which are the other things which can actually get my capital letter. We can also like work on that particular thing. Like, you can also start with nouns. If the children are not very much sure about how to write their names, is which kind of a name is actually correct. So you can make cards like this and you give them. So they understand, okay, this is correct. And whatever you're trying to highlight, the capitalization is what you're going to be highlighting. So capital first letter has to be in color red. The dog, because that's a pronoun that we're going to be using it, right? So this has to be introduced to the child, and all these sentences are right. So we can have duplicate sentences for each of them. It could be a phrase, it could be a shorter sentence. The child will have to be finding out what is right. Similarly, for the next exercise in set B, we would be introducing something related to commas. Okay. We would be introducing to something of the next one, that's comma. Like I'm sick today, I will be on leave. So the comma has to be highlighted in red color. Now the child will know why to use a comma, because there are 2 sentences which has been joined, and the first sentence will give you a lot of meaning depending on the second sentence. So we have comma that you will be introducing. Similarly, you go with the question marks. Why you late? All the WH questions you can actually ask. and your punctuation mark of question will be in red color. This is how you will go with all the duplicate sets. Again, if I go back to your book, you will have to be making cards this way, and you will have to be presenting the cards in such a manner that it becomes easier for your demonstration. And the choice of the questions, the choice of the sentences is up to you. You can take any simple sentences from your books itself and you can start making. Okay. So this is what I was trying to share for the commas. And yeah. So again, here in set B, you would have all the cards which is related to your comma. And again, you're going to be having multiple sentences. I see two little red marks. These are called commas. So you have to tell them what is that mark, and then is what you're going to be beginning. Okay. And we have question mark over here. So question mark, again, you can draw it a little bigger so that the child will understand. And all the sentences, whatever we have in set C, will be related to our question mark itself. Okay. Now the child will work with set C. The child can revise set A and B as whatever, if it is required, you can do that. Only because why do we do this is because they are getting the basic sentence punctuation knowledge. Okay. So this is going to help them to read and write. We are not going with the other punctuation marks as of now. These are the three basic ones, which is essential for them to begin when they're in LKG. Okay. This is all for 4.5, 5.5 years. So some of the schools will introduce the period because the sentences would have got started, right? So towards the end of LKG, you can start beginning with capital letters. You can introduce commas and all of that. Now, to make it even more fruitful and nice, we go for something called as transcriptions. Now, what are transcriptions and how do we do it? How beautifully can we do transcriptions is another thing. So what I have to be working when I'm working with transcriptions is I have to take a box. My box will have a lot of writings. Now, the writings can be from Nisha, writings can be from Gayatri ma'am, it can be from Lakshmi or Lipika or anything. Or even it can be writings of my children, of my class students. Now, this writing has to have these many things. Okay. Now, say, suppose in case if I was reading a book, okay, everyone here has the habit of reading books. I'm very sure about it because we are in a profession wherein we read every day, something or the other. And sometimes if it catches your mind, that line, you will start noting it down, right? So from today, whatever you could do is like you can label it. You make label cards like this. And if you are liking any sentence or a saying from any of the great literature book, you write down on that. And that goes into your writing transcription box. Okay. And if Anita ma'am is teaching some good rhymes for children, new rhymes, okay, many of the teachers are still stuck with the classic rhymes itself. Try to learn new rhymes. Whatever is the new rhyme, that lyric, you take it, you write, and you laminate that particular thing and put it into your transcription box. If at all, if you want to introduce riddles in your classes, write that riddle, laminate it, and put it. If your mother has said something, a homely saying, every day, I think all our moms tell us anything, right? Eat healthy, don't work too much, take care of yourself, exercise, eat healthy, don't order food from outside, right? It's okay. Every saying is important. Ask your children also, what did your mama tell you before coming to school? Listen to your teacher, write that. Okay, don't fight with your friends, write that. Complete your lunch box, write that. That's a homely saying, a note which has been sent by their lovely parents. And we need to respect that. And when it gets into the transcription, every time that the child starts to read this all will have to happen during your circle time. Okay, we are trying to have a very healthy conversation, but at the same time, being a language teacher, being a class teacher, you're also introducing the children to the skill of reading. Now, if you're reading a story and if you liked a significant line, write from that. Words of a familiar song you can write, and the children will now sing. They would start to complete it. So this would all be your transcriptions. And do you need any material to do that? We don't need any material. You just need a plain sheet of paper. And if you are having a laminating machine in your school, please laminate it and you could reuse it. Okay. Let the child turn down the card. Let them turn the card. Let them see what it is. And they can read it once. After reading it, if your child is so confident, they can put it back again and they can start writing on their own. See, ultimately, our entire goal is to make sure that the child is reading and writing. Okay, this is what we're going to do. The child picks anything, be it a riddle, a homely saying, a line from the teacher's script, anything. They look, they read, they face it down, they write it on the paper again. If they are finding it difficult, okay, I'm not able to figure out what it is, no problem. Let them turn back the card, let them see what it is, let them write again. We are not here to test the efficiency of a child. We are here only to educate the child of how to write and how to read it. Okay, so that's how your evaluation test should be there. You have to make sure your child is self-evaluating. They have to work on themselves. Is it right? Is it not right? Let them do a self-check. Once they're completely done with that, the child is going to take one more sheet of a paper from the shelf and they start doing another one more, another one. And then they're going to put back all their work in the teacher's shelf, wherever the teacher asks them to keep it. And then the child is going to write their name and they're going to drop it over there for the teacher's corrections or for the checkings. Most of the teachers, they do it on spot. But in case if the teacher is busy with something, you can actually put it into the work profile check boxes. What is the purpose of doing this? Only writing practice. We want the children to write. So that's a good exercise, isn't it? So you can actually collect a lot of good samples and you can keep it. And again, the writing paper can be a choice of yours. Okay, so that helps our children to actually work on the writing part of it. So we disconnect and we connect back for our session 2. Okay, so I'll see you soon in the session 2. So connect me back.